What is going on? David Lyon here, founder of Evolving Men and Body Creators. So in this video, I want to talk about the gift that lies in perfectionism and how to overcome the kind of perfectionism that actually holds you back, that doesn't let you show up in the world because you're never good enough, the constant stress that you're putting on yourself because you can never reach the expectations that you have on yourself. So I wanted to create this video because perfectionism is being talked about a lot, and which I think is very important and beautiful. At the same time, I have a sense that perfectionism is being vilified a bit, and so I want to point out the beauty, or how, like, what perfectionism can transform into if you start working with it. Because in a way, perfectionism for me is the unhealthy expression of having high standards. And as a recovering perfectionist and as someone with very high standards in my life, I can see how this seeing what's possible, seeing where I could be, and setting very high standards for the things that I bring into my life, for the people I bring into my life, for how I go through my day, all these different things. Having high standards for me feels like a very healthy thing, because for me it is living up to what I know is possible. Now, where perfectionism for me becomes unhealthy is that when that voice inside of you, you can call it the inner critic if you want, like the voice that is constantly criticizing, that is always seeing what is not good, what could be improved, and so on, when it takes the lead, when this is the loudest voice inside of you, then this is what people might call perfectionism, or you could say then this is where perfectionism just becomes purely unhealthy, is that you believe everything this voice is saying, and you're almost like, internally it can feel like you are the victim to that voice inside of you. And that voice often takes on the words that you might have heard from your parents or from schoolmates, some critical remarks that someone once expressed, that your brain kind of perpetuates them. But as I said, this inner critic is not necessarily bad, it just needs to be put in place. So it's more of a matter of becoming the authority inside yourself again, to be able to decide, okay, when am I going to listen to my inner critic and look at the things where I can improve, and when is it actually not healthy and helpful to listen to that part. Because in a way, it very much depends on the context that you're in, whether it makes sense to look at what needs to be improved, and when it might be more important to acknowledge what a huge step you even took without looking at the faults. So let's say I'm creating a video like this for the very first time. It's not going to be perfect. It's probably going to be pretty shitty. Now, is it going to make sense right away to go into my inner critic, or to listen to my inner critic about all the things that I could have done differently? Probably not. Probably it's better to be like, hell fucking yeah, how much courage does it take to create a video and then share it online? Amazing. Now, if I create 30 videos and I start seeing patterns that I might not like, it might very well be helpful to listen to that part of me that says, well, you keep on saying this thing and it's actually, you don't really believe that yourself, or your voice always sounds faster and higher when you, whatever it is that these remarks are. But we can use them to our own advantage when we learn to realize that the inner critic is like, it's not your boss. And so in that process, what comes up is our own experience with authorities in our life. And so in a way, it's a beautiful process to rediscover that you, like that the mature adult part inside of you, the compassionate part that can see all other parts and can relate to them in a compassionate way and can create space for everything that is happening inside of you, that is who you are, and that is the true authority. And the whole process is about reconnecting to that, because from there you can listen to the inner critic. You can be like, yeah, that's interesting. That only sounds like a terrible judgment that is not helpful in any way. Great, this I'm going to discard, this I'm going to take, let's move on. All right, and so because I work with a lot of people who deal with perfectionism, it's important for me to acknowledge that there is an incredible gift inside of that. It also means that you probably have a lot of talents. It probably means that you have a sense of how much there's possible in your life, of how much you could actually achieve. And yes, it is challenging to walk through life and notice all the places where you're not there yet. But it doesn't have to be this terrible burden and your life is hard and heavy all the time until you finally reach the peak. Because guess what? The inner critic is, once you're on the top, the inner critic is going to be like, yeah, but that was a small achievement. You know what you could really achieve, you know how much better you could actually be, and is going to already look at the next peak. So we just learn to relate to that part in us in a more empowered, clear way. And then your perfectionism can just become having high standards in your life, which in my view is something very healthy. All right. If you want to learn more about how you can relate to all these different parts inside of you, how you can embody, how you can become more present inside of your body and live from a deep embodied awareness in your life and connect to greater vision, then check out the Embodied Creators Coaching. It's a new coaching program I just launched last week. It's going to be open for a couple more days. I'm going to put the details in the comments, and you can reach out to me if you feel called to work with me like that. Now, as always, you're seen, you're loved, you're appreciated. Keep evolving, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.